Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing an investment pitch for Reddit, ticker RDDT, the heart of the internet. This is not financial advice. This is just a company and a business that I've been into for a very long time, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So, to begin, for those of you who don't know, what is Reddit? Reddit is a community of communities, to say the least. This is basically where users participate in forums known as subreddits. So basically, it's these different groups on the app. So you can join the cooking subreddit, or the parenting subreddit, or the football subreddit, or the political subreddit. Any subreddit you want, there's pretty much something for you. A community already made around people of the same interest, so you guys could discuss. So let's just say you're into computers, but you don't have any friends who are into computers. You could go into that r/computer subreddit and talk to a bunch of people with the same interest as you. So, unlike traditional social media, Reddit relies around this kind of content and conversation building. The users are largely anonymous, which is kind of a plus for the users because it makes people feel more comfortable being like, hey, like, basically, you don't have your face behind it, like on something like Instagram or TikTok. Um, so that could be a big plus. Real reason, like, makes it easier for users to join the platform, speak their mind. Um, Content on Reddit spans text posts mostly, but it's also links, images, videos, pretty much all kind of content type. They also have apps now and games on the website, which makes it really fun and exciting and shows you how they're growing over time. Um, okay, so how does Reddit work? Basically, the core of Reddit is its voting system. So users upvote or downvote different posts. So let's just say there's a post about dogs, and someone leaves a comment there, and a bunch of people find it inspiring or funny or witty or useful, whatever the case. People could upvote that, and that comment will be seen by more people as it goes higher on when people are scrolling. If people downvote it, then it goes towards the bottom, so less people see it. If it's in the negatives, people won't even see that comment. It'll be blurred out. You can still view it, but it kind of shows you how, like, this is not algorithm driven like a bunch of these other apps. It's actually based on like this crowd curated system where people actually say what they want. Hey, I like this, so I'll upvote that, or I don't, and I'll downvote that. And each subreddit operates like its own self-governed city, rules, moderators, communities specialized or broad. Each has its own rules and its own like community. Everyone's very friendly. I've noticed that. You know, you would think of the internet as kind of like a dark place, but Reddit is actually a lot of people being very friendly and helpful. So Reddit's pretty big. It's the third most visited website in the United States, which shocks a lot of people, and the sixth in the world. So you've probably seen Reddit recently. Um, when you search on Google, there's a very high chance that it will be in the top 5 links, no matter what you're looking for, if it's film or sports. Reddit, there's always someone on Reddit talking about it. So here you can kind of see like where Reddit ranks in the United States when it comes to websites. So Reddit again is in the top 3 above Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, X, and even in the world, Reddit, although not number 3, it's number 6, so we're still in the top 10 here, and incredibly high, very close to websites like, you know, X or Instagram, um, Amazon. So, I mean, this is one of the most visited websites on the planet, and its stock is incredibly underlooked. This is a $38 billion company. Um, and it's growing incredibly fast. And it's just kind of like sitting here, just waiting to be bought or realize that there's a different multiple of it growing. Um, so one thing about Reddit is that it's extremely useful for these large language models, such as ChatGPT or um, Gemini. And that's because people go to Reddit with questions, and other users will go in there and help them with their questions. Um, so, for example, let's just say you're planning a trip to New Orleans. You go on the New Orleans subreddit, say, "Hey, I'm looking to spend 5 days in New Orleans, and I have no idea what to do." Then users, either from the area or people who have been there in the past, they'll comment like, "Hey, you should do X, but you shouldn't do Y," stuff like that. And they'll build up, there'll be a lot of comments or whatever. And those type of posts are what feed the LLMs when you go up there and like, "Hey, I'm planning a trip. What's some stuff that I could do?" So actually something like ChatGPT will go to Reddit, get those answers, then come back. Both Google and OpenAI have signed multi-billion-dollar deals with Reddit just to get answers like that on their platforms. This is kind of a breakdown of what users use what Reddit, and broken down by like age or sex or race or household income. Reddit is what we see is really popular with people under 50, making more than 100K a year, and they have college experience. So that's like a really good if you're trying to market a product, those are some things you really need. So Reddit is the only growing substantially social media, um, pretty much out of the top six. I mean, and these are pretty much all the social medias there are, um, that are it's competing with. And I mean, it's just growing like faster than any of these other ones. If you look at another chart here, you can see although Reddit is low compared to something like Facebook and Instagram, which are tremendous, by the way, it's like pretty much everyone on the planet has a Facebook and Instagram account, let alone YouTube. YouTube is in its own ball game. But Reddit, you could see, is kind of having this nice exponential curve here. Just 5 years ago, it was down here at the bottom of the pit, and now it's really soaring up, above X and Snapchat. Um, and what makes Reddit really unique here is that I think it's going to be a better bet for advertisers than Instagram and Facebook because people are going to Reddit with problems and they're looking for solutions. So just kind of like when you go on Instagram, you're just kind of doom scrolling, or if you go on TikTok, you're doom scrolling, just kind of scrolling with no point in mind, not really looking for an answer to something. I mean, maybe there's like a big hit piece and you go there to look for information, but Reddit is specifically a spot where you go for like, "Hey, I have this problem," or like, "What are your parenting advice?" So people go to Reddit for that, or like for example, "Hey, I'm missing this car part and I don't know what to buy." That is a much better spot for an advertiser to put an ad being like, "Hey, car parts here," or computer subreddit selling gaming products, advertisements there, as opposed to something like Facebook or Instagram where they're kind of just guessing what you're into based on like what your friends like, what kind of posts you've looked at in the past. Like they really don't have a great idea as opposed to Reddit where they could specifically see, okay, you're in the hiking subreddit, you're in the cooking subreddit. So they could offer you specific like products like that. For example, women's health subreddits. So you could instantly target, if people are talking about, "Hey, I have this pain," and you have a solution, you could offer it right there, straight to the consumer. Much better hit when it comes to ads there. And Reddit is still like, I mean, Facebook and Instagram have been doing ads for years, so they're phenomenal. Um, but Reddit is truthfully just getting into it, and they are slowly but surely going to make those ads even better and better. You could see using the app that they're progressing each time. So Reddit's actually talked about in the news a lot, so I kind of want to go over some of the recent news about it. So there was a shooting of an MIT professor, Someone on Reddit posted about it, and that's actually how they caught the guy. Um, Pretty much someone on Reddit was like, "Hey, this guy looks sus. You guys should check him out," to the cops, and then the cops saw that, and they actually they actually found him and arrested him. And the guy who posted the Reddit thread was awarded $50,000 for his help. Um, Also want to go into a bunch of Pure Research has been doing a bunch of deep dives on Reddit, which I find incredibly interesting. So especially with parents in this recent posting. So r slash parenting is a tremendous online community of parents, more than 8 million members. Um, so here are some kind of stats from the article that I took away. Um, it's surprisingly overwhelmingly positive. So I think the internet is kind of like curated to be like, oh, don't read the comments. That's kind of like something that's we've all heard before, like, oh, you shouldn't read the comments because they're going to be negative. And it's kind of interesting because if you look at this chart here on the top right, most people posting this in the r slash parenting subreddit, it's mostly negative emotions or like kind of like based or like mixed emotions. So that's the majority. So like 90% of people go to this community being like with bad taste, like, oh, I had a problem with my kid, or they're on the iPad too long, and they all go there, and almost 100%. I mean, it's 90%. 90% of the people who comment on this are being extremely supportive, which is crazy. Like you think about like I mean, that's awesome. That's something that's not common on the internet, like people actually being supportive. So people are actually going to the subreddit, like, I mean, if you're a parent and you're too embarrassed to ask a question to someone, you go on Reddit, you could ask anonymous people. And anonymous people can help you, people who have already dealt with the situation. Um, in their survey, 34% said they visited places online where parents talk about raising their kids. So I mean, like, I know that when people who are younger start becoming parents are going to be more adapt to going online and looking at this sort of stuff, and Reddit is going to be a place where people could ask their exact specific questions, not just generic. um has someone gone through this, kind of, you see a post and it's kind of similar to yours, but you could actually ask your own specific uh questions and really get down to the details. um and I mean, just between January to July, with 2025, 30,000 people posted in that subreddit, and there were 800, nearly a million comments of people being helpful, which is crazy. You think 850,000 comments, like, oh, it must be a majority like unsupportive, but it's actually the majority of people trying to help one another, which is something, a good transition into this next piece. So Kanye West actually like went through this whole like dark period, and he just dropped this through the Wall Street Journal, and pretty much it's just like, a whole story about how he was hurt and going through all the stress. And in his article he says, I found some comfort in Reddit forums of all places. Different people speak in manic and depressive episodes of similar nature. I read their stories and realized I was not alone. So that's kind of like the positive that Reddit can bring to all of this, like people could be honest. Not something like, you don't need to show your face. Like you could just be like, like if you're really going through an uncomfortable situation, you're not going to go, you might not go up to your friends and be like, oh, I'm going through this. You might want to talk to someone like, like behind the screen or anonymous. That's one of the best things about the internet. You could do it anonymously, which is what Reddit offers here. Additionally, Reddit also overtook TikTok in the UK, which is kind of crazy considering how big TikTok is here in the US. Um, so, first off, it's gone under an 88% increase in the proportion of UK interest users it reached. 3 in 5 Brits online now encounter the site, up from one third. So, I mean, now we're dealing at, I mean, come on, that's like a huge percentage of the population are now seeing the site and getting used to it. More than half of its UK users are women, which is really good considering that most people are considering Reddit kind of like a male-dominated site. It's really not. It's actually becoming more women-based. Um, there's skincare and beauty and cosmetics um, that, you know, I mean, it's just appealing for everyone. Like, there's something for everyone on this site. Um, so 71% of women are in skincare subreddits or whatnot. Um, and the UK government also launched its own account, so that's how big it got in the UK. It got big enough that the UK government had to open up its own account. And even its housing secretary held an AMA, Ask Me Anything, which is something that Reddit has pretty much came up with itself, became popular for. So I think this is really important news because I think soon, like if I jump back to like the chart of the social medias, um, Reddit's kind of here. I am anticipating that it will eventually overtake TikTok, um, in the US. And the reason why I say that is because, especially recently, after it was bought by a US company, TikTok users are deleting the app with removals up 150% following the joint ventures. I personally don't use TikTok, but I have friends who have complained that they're not able to see things. It's glitchy, stuff is being taken down. It's just not like the terms and conditions have changed. So it's a completely different social media than it was. The algorithm's getting worse. So I think stuff like this is what's really going to drive people to Reddit, let alone it being in the top of Google searches. Um, people wanting to be honest or wanting something new as they switch away from TikTok. Um, and yeah, so actually saw this Reddit post recently. So Reddit had its most visits ever in history in December, according to SEMrush, up 7% from its November's high. So the highest traffic ever. Is Reddit's growth since they went public. Um, Daily active users. So pretty much in the US, year over year, you can see this kind of like crazy growth. It's kind of slowing down now. Um, Last quarter they had 51 million point six active users, daily active users, and internationally they had 64K. I'm expecting this to grow. Like if I just set these both to like, I mean, the street is projecting 67,000 to 69,000 for international users. So that's kind of like the base case here. And then this is pretty much the base case here in this situation. I'm expecting both of these to kind of have like a bold case scenario, especially in the US, due to the TikTok revenue. Actually, both of them are pretty much due to TikTok. TikTok overtaking, or Reddit overtaking TikTok in the UK and US, it's just growing between the Google searches, third most visited website in the US. And I'm expecting that we actually increase, which is what I really want to look at, is here. This is the total daily active users year over year. We need this 19.3% number to increase. So like I want to see like an increase in user growth. So if we are able to do that, I think that would be like phenomenal. Um Phenomenal growth for something like Reddit. Um but yeah, that is just like a basic introduction into Reddit. Not too much into the financials. Could go over it some other time. I mean, Reddit is still a very young company. So yeah, that was pretty much just my take. See you guys.